Deve Satyavachai. Oops. So today is the commemoration of the disappearance day of two Vaishnavas, Bir Goswami and Kashishvara Swami or whatever. And we'll speak a little bit about them before we go on to the Bhagavatam. But first we're going to chant the prayers, the part of Vaishnavas, which we do whenever there's a commemoration like this. So, Ye Anila Premadana Korana Prachur Henu Prabhu Kotakela Kacharya Thakur Kamora Saruprupa Kasanata Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Bhavagon Kahamora Bhata Juga Kakavera Ekakale Kotake Lagaka Goranatarakas Pashane Kutivo Mata Anale Pashibo Goranga Gune Ranide Kotakele Pabo Say Sabah Sangira Sange Jacoilo Velas Say Sangana Payakan Day Narochamodas. Yayanelo prema dana Korana pracho Jaya Jaya Thakur 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 Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravitacharya also Chara Satashi Shima Divine Grace Abhaya Chanana Say Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhi Go Bhakta Vrinda Kijaya Shishi Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Shaima Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Kijaya Vrindavan Kijaya Maturadam Kijaya Jagadada Swami Kijaya Mudamaya Kijaya Shimati Lasi Devi Kijaya Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Kijaya Go Prananda Hari Hari Bo All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Samani Tinamani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Bacharani Nivashesha Shunyavati Paschachate Jitari. Read the translation. He who brought the treasure of divine love and was filled with compassion and mercy. Where is such a personality as Srinivasacharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan? Where is Raghunath Das, the savior of the fallen? Where are my Raghunath Bhatta and Gopal Bhatta? And where is Krishnadas Kaviraj? Where did Lord Gauranga, the great dancer, suddenly go? I will smash my head against the rock and enter into the fire. Where will I find Lord Gauranga, the reservoir of all wonderful qualities? Being unable to obtain the association of Lord Gauranga, accompanied by all of these devotees in whose association he performed his pastimes, Narottama Das simply weeps. So, as we mentioned, it is the commemoration of the disappearance day of these two personalities, Bir Goswami and Kashishvara. So, Omagana Timidanda Shah, Garanjana Shilakya Chakshu, Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. So, a little bit of information about both of them. Of course, Bir Goswami was an intimate friend of Lokanath Goswami, and they were sent to Vrindavan before the other Goswamis went to Vrindavan, and they were actually sent there by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before he took sannyas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was arranging for his devotees to be there to prepare the grounds for the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. Bir Goswami was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit Goswami, and he had many other disciples himself. In the Agora Ganadesh Dipika, it's mentioned that he is Prema Mandri in Krishna Leela. So he disappeared on this particular day. His samadhi is near the samadhi of Rupa Goswami in the courtyard of the Radha Damodar temple. So Kashishvara Pandit, he and Govinda were disciples of Ishwarapuri, and they were actually sent to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to take their service first because he thought basically they were God brothers. It's not proper to accept service from God brothers. However, the order of Ishwarapuri transcended that particular item of etiquette, and so he accepted them. In Krishna Lila, Kashishra Pandit was Krishna's servant Bringara, and Govinda was Bongura. And they were always with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kashishra Pandit was known as being very powerful in physical strength, and whenever there was a kirtan, he would actually protect Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with his physical strength. And I think that's about all. I got a lot more, but there's not a lot of time. There's a lot of information here. He was one of the 7 persons who would serve Mahaprasadam to the devotees after the kirtan at the Rath Yatras. The others were Swarup Damodar, Jagadananda, Damodar, Gopinath, Vaninath, and Shankara. He had also participated in some of the Lord's Leelas in Navadvip, such as the kirtans at Srivas Thakur's house, Shivasanga. And he was present also when Lord Chaitanya went to greet Advait and the other devotees when they arrived from Bengal. Disappearance Day is today. And some people say his disappearance day is in the month of Ashvina, but we celebrate or commemorate today. So, Kashishvara Pandit Ki Jai. And now we will go to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 56th chapter, text 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Upalabhya Rishikesham Mritam Punar Vivagatam Saha Patnya Mani Grivam Sarve Jata Mahotsava Upalabhya Rishikesham Mritam Punar Vivagatam Sahapatnya Mani Grivam Sarve Jata Mahotsava Upalabhya Rishikesham Mritam Purna Vivagatam Sahapatnya Mani Grivam Sarve Jata Mahotsava Upalabhya Rishikesham Mritam Purna Vivagatam Sahapatnya Mani Grivam Sarve Jata Mahotsava. Okay. Nahosa. Upalabhya, recognizing. Rishikesham, the Lord of the senses. Mritam, someone dead. Puna, again. Eva, as if. Agatam, come. Saha, with. Patnya, a wife. Mani, the jewel. Grivam, on his neck. Sarve, all of them. Jata, aroused. Maha, great. Utsava, rejoicing. Translation, seeing Lord Rishikesh return as if from death, accompanied by his new wife and wearing the Shaimadaka jewel on his neck, all the people were roused to jubilation. You can repeat. Seeing Lord Rishikesha return as if from death, accompanied by his new wife and wearing the Shaimadaka jewel on his neck, all the people were roused to jubilation. So purport by the followers of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jambavan had placed the jewel on the Lord's neck when he had presented his daughter in marriage. And so there's commentaries here. We're going to read the next few verses and then speak. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said at the time of giving his daughter to Krishna, same thing. Jiva Goswami states, without Krishna, the inhabitants have become almost unconscious without senses. Krishna was the master of their senses, Rishikesham. The jewel around his neck is mentioned last because simply by wearing it on his neck, he reversed the situation completely, causing joy to the devotees and sorrow to his detractors. And part of Sanatana Goswami's commentary, wore the jewel around his neck to dispel the gossip. The festival became greater because it pleased Krishna. Now, text 38. Satrajatam samahuya sabayam rajasanhita praptim chakyaya bhagavan manim tasmai nyavedayat. Lord Krishna summoned Satyajit to the royal assembly. There, in the presence of King Ugrasena, Krishna announced the recovery of the jewel and formally presented it to Satyajit. And Jiva Goswami says, with attention he summoned Satyajit, and in the presence of the king Ugrasena, or all the kings, in order to dispel the false rumors and give joy to all people, he explained the events to all the citizens, and even though he had previously requested it for Ugrasena, he offered the jewel to Satyajit to show that he had not desire for it, since as the Lord full of all powers and wealth, Bhagavan, he had no interest in such things. Text 39. Sachati riditor ratnam grihitva van mukastata anutapya manho bhavantam agamat svena papmana, hanging his head with great shame. Satyajit took the gem and returned home, all the while feeling remorse for his sinful activity. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says the same thing. Jiva Goswami says the word cha means but. This distinguishes him from the other people who were excellent. He, unlike the others, felt remorse. He then left the assembly. Tata went to his house. The Lord, because of his affection, did not disrespect Satyajit, but accepted the sin as his own, Svena. So, and finally, we'll read text 40 to 42. Sonyudyayam stadhivagam balavad vigraha kula katam rejam yatma raja prasiddhed vachuta katam kim kritva sattumadhyam sound snashaped vajano yata atirga darshanam kshrudram mudam dravina lolupam dashe duhitam tasmai Stri ratnam ratnamevacha upayo yam samichinas tasya shantirna chanyata. Pondering over his grievous offense and worried about the possibility of conflict with the Lord's mighty devotees, King Satyajit thought, how can I cleanse myself of my contamination, and how may Lord Achyuta become satisfied with me? What can I do to regain my good fortune and avoid being cursed by the populace for being so short-sighted, miserly, foolish, and avaricious? I shall give my daughter, the jewel of all women, to the Lord, together with the Shaimandaka jewel. That indeed is the only proper way to pacify him. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, worried about strife with the strong followers of Krishna, he began to think. His thoughts are described in 2.5 verses. So he's not really doing this devotionally, which we're going to talk about in a second. Jiva Goswami, finally, he thought continually about his sin, and because it was a great sin, he thought only that and nothing else. He was overcome with anxiety about conflict with the powerful Lord or his devotees because of spreading the rumor. His thoughts are then described. Krishna does not deviate from his nature, Achyuta. How can I please him? All the people, Jana, should not curse me because of my bad qualities, such as being short-sighted. Thus, this jewel is not suitable for mortals like me. I am low, therefore, though I have obtained it, I should offer the jewel to the Lord. Though he asked for it, I was foolish, mudha, and stooped to defaming him. All these qualities have arisen because I was greedy for wealth. How will he be satisfied with your daughter and become peaceful? His peace, his tasha, dissipation of sorrow, or the atonement for my offense, a tasha, will result from giving the jewel of my daughter and the Shaimandaka jewel. No other means, such as killing myself, will produce this atonement. So, Om Gana Timidandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. Now, the Gopal Champu has an elaborate description of this particular pastime, and I wanted to read that description. This actually refers to Jambavan's daughter. We get more information about Jambavati in this particular pastime. Now attaining as her husband the person whose sublimely handsome form she had her birth seen again and again in a trance of meditation, Jambavan's daughter fell unconscious. In this way, she filled her father's heart with a host of worries. Jambavan's daughter thought, my father is an elderly bear. So is my mother. My other associates are bears like them. My home is within a mountain cave. How is it that such a wonderful person now walks upon the pathway of my eyes? Who is this person, glistening like a king of many hosts of regal sapphires, a person whose smiling eyes the glorious lotus flowers praise with many prayers, a person glorious in garments effulgent like gold, a person that again and again attracts me? After being requested by Jambavan, who remembered the nectar of the touch of Sri Krishna's hand, Sri Krishna slightly touched Jambavan's daughter and restored her consciousness. And after she stood up from that unconscious swoon, Jambavan, thinking himself very fortunate, arranged for the performance of auspicious music and carrying his daughter and your son, Sri Krishna, on his shoulders, as if on a great palanquin, walked to the entrance of his cave. Meanwhile, the people in the committee from Dwarka waited at the cave's entrance. After 13 days, they departed, disappointed, dejected, for their own homes. We know about that. I'm just skipping ahead because there's some discussion between Madhukanta and the other messenger. Okay. Okay. So here's about the story about Satyajit. Returning from his auspicious expedition, Sri Krishna called Satyajit to the royal assembly, and in the presence of everyone smiled and returned to Satyajit the jewel. The two messengers said, at first the jewel made Satyajit turn his face away from Krishna. Now the jewel made him bow his face in embarrassment, even though he continued to turn his face away from Sri Krishna. What can I do, Satyajit thought, so that Sri Krishna, who is secretly angry with me, will be pleased with me? What can I do so that Krishna's kinsmen and friends will not make a curse fall upon me? Yes, I should be intelligent like Jambavan, who gave both the jewel and his jewel-like daughter, far more precious than any jewel, to Krishna as a doubly valuable gift, and in this way please Krishna, even though previously he had fought with Krishna as an enemy. Satyajit, who was always diligent in performing his duties, decided, I should give my daughter, who was named Satyabhama, to Krishna, give her and the jewel also. Satyajit did not know that from a very ancient time, intense devotion to Lord Krishna had existed in Jambavan's daughter, Jambavati, and also in his own daughter. When Satyajit offered his daughter and the jewel to him, Sri Krishna accepted the daughter, who was fortunate and glorious in that she considered Sri Krishna to be dear to her as her own life. Sri Krishna did not accept the jewel. In this way, Sri Krishna revealed both the presence of sincere devotion in the daughter, and here's the operative phrase, and its absence in Satyajit himself. The absence of that devotion in Satyajit is seen in the following statement. Satyabhama's pure, eternal, limitless, and uncheckable devotion to Sri Krishna was the source of great wonder to Satyajit and his associates. In other words, Satyajit was thinking, I'm just giving Krishna a present, and he had no devotion for Krishna. But he didn't realize that his daughter had unlimited devotion to Krishna, and also previously Jambavan's daughter, Jambavati, had unlimited devotion for Krishna. So what I want to speak about is remorse. So Satyajit here is experiencing remorse because he's fearful of having committed an offense. Now, remorse is a common factor in many stories that we hear in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'd like to cite some of these stories. One of the stories, of course, is in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, is the story of the ritualistic brahmanas. The ritualistic brahmanas had great remorse because they did not give anything to Krishna. And the cowherd boys, when the cowherd boys asked for food, saying that Krishna and Balaram were hungry. Incidentally, it's interesting that Krishna said to the cowherd boys when they were going to see the brahmanas, you should ask in the name of Balaram. But we find in the Srimad Bhagavatam they asked in the name of Krishna and Balaram. It's interesting, because there's so much love for Krishna, they couldn't avoid saying the name Krishna. Anyway, so they asked for the foodstuffs, and the brahmanas refused, as we know. And eventually, they asked the wives of the brahmanas, and the brahmanas' wives just neglected their husbands, brought all the food to Krishna and the cowherd boys. And the brahmanas, after this whole episode, were extremely remorseful. But still, that remorse was not enough to get them to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in fact, the words in the Bhagavatam are something like, the hell with our situation, But still, because they were afraid of Kamsa, they could not change their mentality. So there's another story of being morose or remorseful. And other stories are from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a beautiful story how Srimati Radharani was remorseful one particular time. How was she, or why was she remorseful? Because Krishna had left the other gopis, and he left with her. And the gopis were actually looking for Krishna, and they were following the footprints, and they saw 2 sets of footprints. And she became very proud. And she said, basically, Krishna, can you lift me up and carry me? And Krishna just placed her there. And oh my God, there's actually an interesting quote here from the Bhagavatam at 10th canto, 30th chapter, text 37 to 38. As the 2 lovers passed through one part of the Vrindavan forest, the special gopi began feeling proud of herself. She told Lord Keshava, I cannot walk any further. Please carry me wherever you want to go. Thus addressed, Lord Krishna replied, just climb on my shoulder. But as soon as he said this, he disappeared. Her beloved consort, his beloved consort, then at once felt great remorse. Now, this quality of remorse, there's actually a lot of stories about remorse that we probably don't have time to tell. But, we also find Parikshit becoming remorseful, that he has placed the dead snake around Samakarichi's neck. And he's actually praying, let the Brahmins curse, or let me suffer the reaction immediately. And so he takes this mistake, not mistake, of course, it's Yogamaya, but he takes this action of himself, and he becomes remorseful, and it brings him closer to Krishna. And in the Ramayana, we find Kaikeyi becoming very remorseful, and that actually rectifies her consciousness. So as far as ourselves are concerned, and the quality of remorsefulness, there's an interesting quote from the Jaiva Dharma, Hare Krishna, where indicates that we should become remorseful about our past activities. The Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the hero of Braj, the embodiment of eternity, absolute knowledge and bliss, is the sole goal of human existence. Knowing this, the jiva must relinquish the desire for bhukti and mukti of the naimitika dharma. That means ordinary materialistic dharma like brahmanas, sanja performances and everything like that, and practice sharanapati to Sri Krishna. This is real shraddha. When the heart of a jiva is controlled by such shraddha, he sheds tears of remorse and applies himself to following a pure Vaishnava sadhu. Of course, this is also connected with humility, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays, Trinadapi, Sanichena, Tarori, Vasihishna, Manina, Manadena, Kirtaniya, Siddhahari. Thus, at this second stage, sadhu sangha brings the jiva. So, in other words, by that sadhu sangha, one becomes remorseful, embarrassed. Actually, remorse means being embarrassed of one's previous activities. The sadhu sangha brings the jiva to the point of finding the shelter of a guru. And so, then, as far as remorse, I looked up a lot of things about remorse. Remorse is actually one of the symptoms of sattvika vikara. That means the transformation, sattvika vikara transformations in Shantaras. And this is a quote here from Jaiva Dharma. Nearly all the sattvika vikara, such as romancha, horripilation, stamba, being stunned, and spheda perspiration, frequently occur in Shantaras. Mm. Mm. And then Brajanath says, what are the Sanchari bhavas in this ras? The most commonly seen Sanchari bhavas in all categories of Shantaras are nirveda, remorse, driti, patience, harsha, smiling, mati, understanding, smriti, reminiscence, vishada, dejection, utsukao, eagerness, avega, intense emotion, and vitarka, which means argumentativeness. So let's say we do feel remorseful for our past activities in this world, whether we ate meat before or performed other sinful activities. What do we do about that? Do we just drown ourselves in depression? Woe is me. Do we just talk to all the devotees about, this is my life before I came to Krishna consciousness? We find sometimes that in the old days, the brahmacharis would get together and talk about how sinful they were. Wasn't purifying. So what we should do about remorsefulness is interesting, and involves the instructions given by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj about overcoming the punishments. This is in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Overcoming the punishments that a soul would have to endure after having performed sinful activities. So there's a whole discussion between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadev Goswami. And the method for overcoming, what this remorse should inspire us to do is mentioned here. Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.15. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. In other words, the way we overcome, instead of just sitting down and wallowing in our sorrow, if we just tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta puracham param, forceful, enthusiastic devotional service. Next verse, 16 in the same chapter, 1st chapter, 6th canto. My dear king, if a sinful person engages in the service of the bona fide devotee of the Lord, and thus learns how to dedicate his life unto the lotus feet of Krishna, he can be completely purified. One cannot be purified merely by undergoing austerity, penance, brahmacharya, and the other methods of atonement I have previously mentioned. Of course, he previously mentioned these things to Parikshit Maharaj just to test Parikshit Maharaj. He was testing Parikshit Maharaj with 2 tests. One test was simply the method of prayaschitta. In other words, some physical austerity or mental austerity. And Parikshit Maharaj objected to this, saying the seed of desire would still be there, even if one performed physical or mental austerity. And then Shukadev Goswami said, well, through knowledge, gyan. And Parikshit Maharaj really didn't accept that either. And finally, he comes to this point of engaging full-time in the service of the Lord. Next 2 verses refer to the same subject matter. The path followed by the pure devotees who are well-behaved and fully endowed with the best qualifications is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear, and it is authorized by the Shastras. And then in the 18th text, my dear king, as a pot containing liquor cannot be purified, even if washed in the waters of many rivers, non-devotees cannot be purified by the process of atonement, even if they perform them well. So, referring back, of course, to Satyajit here, he's attempting to atone but he's not doing it devotionally. There's a difference. He's giving his daughter away just to bribe the Lord. He's giving the Shaimataka jewel back, or to Krishna, to bribe him. So, oh my God, otherwise I'm going to be suffered. These Krishna's friends are going to attack me. I'm going to be cursed. I'm going to have some sinful activity, sinful reaction. And actually, he did suffer eventually a reaction to his activities. He was killed. And that was the reaction for defying the order of the Supreme, and blaspheming the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the point is, devotional service is not to be done as a ritual for some ulterior purpose. Anyabi lashita shunyam gyana karma navritam anukuyena krishnanushilanam bhaktu uttama. It should be done with a desire to please Krishna. Otherwise, it falls under the category of niyam agraha. Niyam agraha means to perform devotional service ritualistically, not with the right intention. And that's what Satyajit is doing at this particular point. And finally, I'd like to quote what I consider to be the nutshell verse of all of Shukadeva Goswami's explanations or preaching to Parikshit Maharaj in the 6th canto about sin. One of the most famous verses that Prabhupada would often quote, at 6.3.31. Tasmat sankirtanam vishnor jangan mangalang anghasam mahatamapi koravya vijakantaka nishkratam. And this is the best method of atonement. Shukadeva Goswami continued, my dear king, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the greatest, is able to uproot even the reactions of the greatest sins. Therefore, the chanting of the Sankirtan movement is the most auspicious activity in the entire universe. Please try to understand this so that others will take it seriously. So this is, if you're feeling remorseful, that's the best methodology to deal with the remorse and actually purify yourself. So any questions or comments? Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's Namabas chanting. One may be meaning something else. One may be joking. One may be derisive towards the devotees. And so it has some effect, but it doesn't have the effect of giving you pure devotional service. Therefore, it does free you from all sorts of karma. That's described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Harinam Chintamani. He said even the parabdha karma, that's been a point of contention. I've heard some devotees argue about that because, this body is a manifestation of our parabdha karma. But according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even the Namavas chanting gets rid of all the karma. It doesn't give you pure devotional service. And incidentally, if one wants to progress spiritually, one has to hear the holy name from the lips of a pure devotee. Or a representative of the pure devotee carrying out the pure devotee's instructions, or a recording of the pure devotee. It's actually just as beneficial to hear a recording of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada as it was to be with him physically. In fact, Prabhupada oftentimes would give Gayatri mantras to the devotees with a tape. And some devotees actually criticized that, said, oh, that's not bona fide. But Prabhupada, of course, was able to do that, and it had the same effect as someone taking the Gayatri right, sitting right next to Srila Prabhupada. So, anyway, so if one wants to attain pure devotional service, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee and hear from a pure devotee about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Lord's holy name. So, anyway, thank you very much. All glories to
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindanalayataksam Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Gaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Nam Namam Vishwaram Sachet Anandurupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yasoda Beoluka Landavamana Paramristamat Yantarato Nurjagopya Rudandamo Netra Yumam Rishantam Karambo Jajuk Mena Satankanetram Mosasakam Patre Kankakanta Stita Grivam Damo Daram Bhakti Badam Iti Drikswanila Bir Ananda Kunde Swakosham Nimhajantam Akyabayantam. Tade sita gesu bhakta ditatam unak prematas tam shatavriti bande bhakta ditatam unak prematas tam Javriti Vande Varam Deva Mokshamna Mokshavatim Vaga Nachanya Pranayam Val Ishadabhya. Ilam Teva Purnatha Gopala Balam Satame Manhasya Vi Rastam Gimanjay. Idam Temu Kamosam Ajanta Nilai Ritam Kundalai Snigda Raktai Shakopya. Musyambidam bimba Ratarame Manasyavi rastam Anam Lakshalavabai. Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Duga Jalakti Manam. Kripa Tristi Ristate Dinambatano Graneshama Magyame Yakshi Dresha. Guvera Majomada Ujjaiva Dhyalvagat Dvayamuchitao Bhakti Bhajo Krito Cha. Data prema bhaktim swa kame priyaja namokshe grahomesti namodareya. Namaste Su Damne Spuratip Jidam Nege Dvatio Jarayatha Vishvachadam Ne. Namo Radhe Kaya Chadiya Priyaya Namo Nanta Lilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namam Vishwaram Satchit Anandurupam Nasatkunda Ram Gokule Brajamanam. Yasodaveo Nukala Navamana Param Vishnam Achanta Tolu Jagopya. Jaya Rad Adamudana Rad Adamudana Rad Jaya Rad Agolokanana Rad Agolokanana Rad Rad Hagorokinana Rad Hagorokinana Rad Jayarad Hey Jayarad Jay Jayarad Hey Jayarad Hey Jayarad Hey Jayarad Hey Jayarad Hey Jayarad Hey Jaya Radhe Jaya Sri Radha Hey Jaya Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravilikacharya also Teta Sachashi Shimad. His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ramse Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Rabo Nityananda Shitwaya Gadada Shivasiti Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shai Makunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Maturadam Ki Jai. Jagannath Swami Ki Jai. Munamai Ki Jai. Shrimati Lasadev Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna. Stasis in your body, to the Supreme Controller who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the butter that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, and who then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in fear of Mother Yashoda, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick, and his mother Yashoda bound his belly with ropes. He shivered in fright, and his pearl necklace shook. To the Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who was bound by his devotees' love, I offer my humble obeisances. Those super excellent pastimes of Lord Krishna's babyhood drown the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastimes may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by locks of curling hair, have become reddened like bimba fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are of no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and am almost like a dead man. Please shower the rain of mercy upon me. Uplift me and protect me with your nectarian vision. O Lord Damodar, in your form as a baby, Mother Yashoda bound you to a grinding stone with a rope for tying cows. You then freed the sons of Kuvera, Manigriva, and Nalakuvara, who were cursed to stand as trees, and you gave them the chance to become your devotees. Please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. O Lord, the entire universe was created by Lord Brahma, who was born from your abdomen, which was bound with a rope by Mother Yashoda. To this rope I offer my humble obeisances. I offer my obeisances to your most beloved Srimati Radharani and to your unlimited pastimes, Lord Damodar ki jai.
Chaitodarpanam marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Brunamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti